You want to find that out before you got the contract or after?
You know someone's habits before. I would hope that you know someone's habits before moving.
You don't know all of them.
Or to have guests.
You are not with them 24.
I lived with someone for 24/7.
This is Megan with Girls Gone Right.
And this is Peyton, and we have DJ and we have Carter from the Revelo Project.
Woo!
How you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Round
Thank you for having
two.
us.
Round two.
Round two for me.
Yeah, we had DJ on a few weeks ago, and we talked about some Reddit controversial topics. And today we are going to talk about something else that's controversial. We are going to talk about Western women.
Oh,
Yeah.
So,
it's exciting.
What do you guys think a Western woman is?
Carter, why don't you start us off?
Okay, a Western woman. I'm sorry, I know you just
That's
got
okay.
on to DJ for touching the mic.
It's fine. If you bump it, it's
I
fine.
do think there's a geographical definition of a Western woman,
Ooh, yeah.
and then there's an actual maybe cultural definition
Like the
of
slang.
Sure.
The
slang.
Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think the geological Western woman definition is a little self-explanatory. I guess the other definition would be, I don't know, a woman who is inhabits, maybe it's not the right word, but Western values in a sense. What those are, I guess are like kind of ever changing.
And it depends
and debatable.
where you live.
This is okay. Oh, this is true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like
expound
a
upon that.
lot of women dictate their values on where they're from, how they grew up.
Yeah, like if they live in the West or East.
Yeah.
What part of the world they live in.
Yeah. Or South.
And what do you think a Western woman means, DJ?
I would say it's just the downfall of morals led to Western women. The Industrial Revolution, its consequences led to Western women.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
So I actually took it to Quora because, that's where all good information is found. From the
Everything
people.
on the internet is correct.
Yeah, from the community, from the people. I'm a Reddit Quora gal. I like to hear other people's insights. So according to Quora, in general, Western women are overweight, lazy, selfish, entitled, and narcissistic feminists. Eastern women are much more feminine, know how to treat a man. Thus, a feminist woman is obsessed with masculine forms of power, and they're not subordinate to a man.
So a blue-haired liberal from California.
Basically, yeah.
But I actually felt like this was a good definition because I totally agree with a feminist is someone that's not subordinate to man.
A feminist is the thing about feminism, which is very interesting, just like the progression of feminism. At first, the feminist movement was fine and it was about, empowering women. Now, though, feminism is about becoming not more woman, but more man and less feminine, which is interesting.
So it's a fight for femininity while losing femininity.
I think it's a fight for power, really.
I agree.
They really,
I don't know.
They do a lot of projection.
Well, I disagree. I think it's not necessarily power as much as it is like masculinity. It's like the whole movement is about
equal.
But their whole movement is to they want the downfall of toxic masculinity because they think that the toxic masculinity is what's ruling society. And so they want to overthrow that. Thus,
but by
gain
doing
power.
that,
They're becoming man.
Yeah, we
masculine.
have to be masculine in order to overthrow
It's
toxic
projection.
masculinity.
Right,
Yeah, I hate it because I think they're just all confused.
You know what's interesting is they hate toxic masculinity, but they're the most masculine women
And
you
yeah,
will ever
100%.
find.
Yeah.
They're the most toxic
and the
women.
most
They have
masculine.
created toxic femininity.
But
They're
feminism,
the most toxically masculine women that you will ever find out there.
oh yeah.
you think a feminist movement would promote femininity, but
Yeah.
it's doing exactly the opposite.
opposite.
They represent everything opposite of femininity.
Yeah.
So in overall terms, a Western woman is someone that is a toxic feminist.
Yes.
And something else that was on Core was someone was just going on a rant of saying Western women have a harder time with marriage than Eastern women because they don't see subordination to a man as like they're completely against subordinating to a man. They want to have like the upper hand and they don't want that. So it's very interesting how like this thread was going on. But I think like that is a huge play in the feminist movement is essentially like in other cultures, marriage works because like in Asia and in the Philippines, they are subordinate to man.
Well, and it's not necessarily, I think it's also the culture, especially Western culture now, is so, there's like various beliefs. There's no like really base or there's no spine
Creed.
of belief that goes through our society these days. If you
Yeah.
look back, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, you could kind of see like, we have one nation under God. There's like kind of just like things you can kind of name that are kind of exist through all of Western society. Now though, and so if you were to get married then, you kind of, the two people would almost certainly have at least similar beliefs just living in the West. Now though, it's like, there's no telling what the person's going to believe. There's so many different beliefs and so many different cultures that instead of these cultures like being integrated into US culture or Western culture, instead it's just like kind of segregated all these different cultures in a weird way and all these strange
Well, culture
beliefs.
itself is downstream from religion. And so the downfall of religion has led to the degeneration
agree.
of culture.
Yeah.
And so you only have the rise of feminism when you have like the death of the Christian West, so to speak.
Yes.
So when the Christian values died or are dying, that's when you see like a rise in feminism and stuff like that. And it's very interesting to see who's funding feminism, by the way.
Oh, let's drop some names.
No, let's
Oh,
just,
let's
I don't know if we're going to go down there.
Okay.
The problem I have the most with it is when they go after women that don't agree with it. Like, and they try to make other women that just follow what they believe to be a traditional woman and what makes them feel feminine, whether that be to get married, have children, and be subordinate to a man or your husband. Like, that's nothing wrong. That's their personal choice. You live your life. If you don't want to be that way, that's fine. Not really. But don't hate on this woman because she doesn't want to live your life. That's her life. That's dumb. And it's confusing.
So are you like that's a libertarian position? Are you libertarian?
No.
Okay.
Well, I don't think that was a very libertarian position,
Well,
was it?
the imposition of values
Oh, like
on other
live
people
your life.
is very
Yeah.
libertarian.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas like most conservatives want to impose like a Christian worldview on the West.
I mean, I think it's fine to disagree with what they're pushing because
Yeah,
think
of
that you
course.
can go off
Yeah.
and do your own thing, but at the same time, like it's about leading others. Like there's another option. You don't have to be a toxic feminist. You don't have to dye your hair blue. You don't have to
course.
hate men. Like here's the great alternative. Let's lead, and other people will see that and they will find that
hopefully
attractive and
follow.
hopefully follow.
Yeah.
And it's about leading other people. And I feel like that should be the way conservatives are. It shouldn't be shaming, but it should be leading
sheep
stronger.
that lost their way.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
So another controversial thing about this is in other countries, the feminism is so different because in other countries like the Philippines, women are submissive to men, right? They're submissive to their husband and they don't see as many divorces. Like the divorce rates are way higher here and it's because we lack morals, we lack values and religion. But I also think it's an issue because when these women feel like they should be equal to man, when in reality, women shouldn't be equal to man.
No.
Women shouldn't be equal to their husband either. In other countries, men are not equal to women. Like
No.
they have the
Okay.
upper
Well,
hand.
if we're going to talk about divorce, now we brought up because
Wait, before
you're
we
signing a contract with somebody that one side is incentivized to leave. So we can talk about feminism
I'm not
feminism
even
itself
talking
and how
about
it
the
relates to.
incentivization of divorce.
Well,
I'm talking
we have
about
to if we're talking about the divorce rates.
But listen, I'm talking about the essentially the reason why things don't work here is because women want to feel like they are equal to man. Like that's the whole movement of feminism, right? Like I'm equal to man. I want equal pay.
Yeah.
I want this. And I want like it's all about being equal. And especially in marriage, these feminists want to feel like they're equal. They don't want to change their last names. There's a lot of things going on. But in other countries, that's not
It's
the
just
way marriage is
tradition.
seen. It's not equal.
tradition.
And
I
a
would also-
woman wouldn't even say that she's equal to her husband.
Yeah, but I don't know. See, I don't know if it's equal as much as it is a
Reciprocal.
problem of like the downfall of roles in a relationship and specifically a marriage or society in general. Like there are roles that need to be filled, and there's man does certain things and the woman does certain things.
Yeah.
There's things that the woman can't do that the man has to do, and there are things that men can't do that women do, and men
like
and women
give birth?
just
Yeah, like
give birth, for instance. And so these things kind of like, there's also other things that aren't physical. Maybe like, men have kind of there's a sense of protection there.
Yeah.
Women there's a sense of care there for children.
Yeah.
And these like traits and physical traits, they kind of mesh together and they make a good relationship. But because these roles are like being destroyed, where it's like, no, we can be a stay-at-home dad, I'll make money, or, like whatever it might be. I think there's just so much, it's like impossible to find somebody who's going to kind of accept the roles as they should be. And I don't know, right? Would you say?
That I do agree. I think that's like a really good point. Is like
as
sometimes
opposed to being
it's
like
not
unequal.
Yeah, it's not unequal. It's like about balance.
Yeah.
Like women bring something to the table that
opposites attract. So it's like,
who was it? It's like Steve Harvey went on a tangent and he said, "Why are men saying?" Asking what women bring to the table, like that shouldn't even be a question. It doesn't matter. They have children. They're able to bear life. What do you mean? What do they bring to the table? Stop asking what they bring to the table. What do you bring to the table to protect that life?
Yeah.
Like, why aren't men stepping up and bringing the table, protecting the wife? Like, women have the gift of bearing life and being nurturing and motherly, and that's something that's really important. And men shouldn't even be asking what women bring to the table.
Whoa,
essentially,
yeah,
they don't get a buy just because they can
some
give birth.
loyalty would be nice.
But okay, there's other things, but I'm saying essentially, I'm not saying that women shouldn't bring anything to the table because women can do many things, and I think that women can be very talented, and it doesn't.
Yeah,
But
we don't
aside from that,
talents are nice. We're not looking for
aside
talent
from
in a
that,
relationship.
that's like, I think like where he was coming from was women have like the gift of something that is so untouchable, and men are meant to protect that. Like that is a man's purpose and duty, and a woman's purpose and duty is to like bring life into this world.
Okay, well, let me ask you this.
Essentially.
What do you think makes a high value woman?
Okay, a high value woman, I feel like it's a good question, but I'm trying to come up with a good answer.
Okay.
High value woman. I think it's someone that represents like the good Christian conservative morals, like being loyal to a man,
loyalty,
not participating in hookup culture, not going out and talking to a bunch of different guys on the weekends. You don't have to wonder who she's texting on the weekends because she's not texting you back. Like, I feel like what makes a high value woman is her communication with a man, being loyal, being honest with what she wants, wanting something bigger than dating, like knowing that her purpose is more than just the hookup culture and going out every weekend, like seeing the higher purpose in the world and bringing that out of a man. Like that is something essentially that is really powerful in a woman. Is like a lot of people say like, well, when a man meets the right girl, like then like you'll know because like he'll want kids and stuff. And that's what's talked about. But I do think that that's true because when a man meets the right woman, the man is like, oh, I do want kids and I do want a family, but I see it with her because she brought that out of me, because I trust her, because she has those nurturing, kind values that makes me want to start a family. And I think that's what makes a high value woman a high value woman.
Yeah, I can get down with that.
I would almost entirely agree.
Yeah. So like loyalty, purity, kind of that thing.
Yeah. But it takes a certain woman, it does take a certain woman to bring that out of a man to want that. Because like I think a man is like,
that's part of attractiveness.
Yeah, he's like, oh my gosh, like I met this girl. She's like I feel like she's gonna be a great mom. And I feel like she's so kind and loyal and has those really feminine traits. And that's what makes me want to have a future with her.
I think some marriages that work too with, let's say the husband is the breadwinner. He works hard to provide, and not only in financially, but with security and things like that. And it can be reassuring to the wife saying like, you don't have to work, but if you want to, that's fine. And I think feminists get caught up in like, well, you're not going to tell me what to do. When a man is just trying to provide for you so that you feel like you don't have to, but if you want to, you can. And I think that that's a great quality to have in a marriage where you feel like if at any point you have a job, let's say, like for instance, Mike and Ash, she told us she works for the company that he owns. And she said, if I came home tomorrow and said, hey, Mike, I think I just want to stay at home and be with the kids, he'd be totally fine with it. And if at any point she wanted to be like, I think I want to go back to work, he'd be totally fine with it. because he's the breadwinner. He makes sure that she's taken care of, the family's taken care of. And if she wants to contribute in any way financially, she can. If she doesn't, that's cool.
Mhm.
And I think that's a great balance to have where there's no pressure on either one of the spouses to feel like they have to contribute in a way and it's a competition.
That's a great point. I think, we mentioned all these words like, oh, do we want like a relationship where it's equal? And equal is definitely the wrong word. Balance is a good way of saying it.
Yes.
I think the word reciprocal makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense because you want the qualities that the other one can bring out of you, kind of like what you said, but also can like, you're a good match together and like two together going stronger. Kind of like the biblical sense of like tying two strings together to make us stronger. But you made a great point about how a girl can bring out the good qualities in a guy. Like, really like a girl, we're like protective and that kind of thing. We want to care for her and create like a great life. But also, I think it goes the other way around as well. Like Nietzsche had a great quote where it's like, it takes a real man to make a woman a woman. And that kind of just basically means like if you imagine just from like a biological sense, if you just drop a woman out there in the wild, let's just say, with a child, she's going to be like guarding the child and like out there, protecting it from everything. Whereas then you drop a man there, it's got to be like a very masculine individual to bring out her femininity and her nurturing side and that kind of thing. And like let go of her like masculine, so to speak. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's honestly so spot on.
Very true.
Andrew Tate
I agree.
has spoken about it, and I'm not.
Here we go.
Tate is really controversial, but he does say that when a woman's with me, she can turn her brain off. Like she doesn't need to worry about how we're getting there, who's driving, directions. Like she just turns her brain off, and that is something that I agree with because if I'm with a man and like I just don't have to like think or stress about the things that I don't want to like stress about. Like driving stresses me out. Getting directions stresses me out. Like those little things.
Guys. Peyton is a terrible driver.
I'm a terrible driver. I
can
hate
attest.
it. It's like the directions, it stresses me out. But if I'm with a man that like I can just trust, like I don't have to worry about where we're going to eat. And like I just like the things that I don't want to worry about, I don't have to because he's going to take care of it. And vice versa. Like if he doesn't want to like do the laundry, like that's something that great, I'll do that. I don't like to drive and do directions. But I think like what he's essentially saying is when a woman's with you, like she can turn her brain off. She doesn't have to be like you said, like on that mode of being protective and cautious all the time. Like she can turn that sense off. And like that essentially lets you be like the most feminine version of yourself, right? Like you can turn the guard down, you can trust someone.
Yeah.
And like that's when a woman can be vulnerable. And that's kind of where women strive best is vulnerability and emotions and being compassionate and empathetic. Like that's like a woman's niche. And I think like when a woman can have her walls down is when she thrives the most.
And I think a lot of that too is like really innate. And I think that's the problem with this modern feminism too, is they try to kind of suppress that. I see it, I kind of have some anecdotal examples, but like my sister, for instance, is like a perfect example of this happening, where my sister grew up, saying she never wants kids. She just like doesn't want to do that. She dated her boyfriend. Shout out to you, Alex and EJ. She dated her boyfriend for like 10 plus years. It's like, I just don't want to get married. I just don't want to buy into that. Super independent type. And then finally she just one day was like, no, I do want to get married. And they're almost certainly going to have a kid. It's just like, because I think it's like hard. I think it's actually hard for women to suppress that and fight I think there's a lot of natural, like innate urges in men and women. Like for men, for example, I think like men need to be, like you said, that women make men better, which is true. Men need to be tamed kind of by women because men are like very ambitious.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, in some sense. But once a woman comes into the picture, it's like the man isn't just ambitious for his own self, but he's like, now he has kind of like a purpose and in some
duty.
form, some kind of sacrifice for something. And I really do think that's deep within us.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys feel that like the female urge or like need that you have in men is like being outsourced to all this technology and like the world we live in now? Like you're talking about all these things you want in a man, right? Like you can make a bag off OnlyFans, right? And become rich super fast. Whereas like you might not need now you have navigation, right? I mean, you can. drive
It like
around with
eliminates the purpose for man. But I think that's
Yeah,
what's so
you know-
toxic, right? Because like women are doing that. Women are like, oh well, if I want to be, the quote is, mom told me that I need to date a rich man. I am a rich man, and like that's the quote that all these girls are posting on Instagram, and then they go on OnlyFans and make money. But here's the
Boss
thing,
babe.
that's temporary, and it doesn't feel good. Like yeah, right now you got the bag, and that's gonna last you a
So
little bit,
temporary,
and then you
yeah.
realize you don't have like
well, you have to think about why it's temporary.
yeah.
You're not going to look like that forever.
Mhm.
And how
Yeah.
shitty is it going to
Your
make you
value
feel?
is higher when you're younger. It's just a fact.
And then
Well,
that makes you a low value lady.
Well, you're
Also,
already,
if you're
you're already
30-year-old,
devaluing yourself by being
Yeah.
on something like OnlyFans. But as sad as and as much as we try to avoid the fact that we do age, and I think this is in our list later, but you know, we have options of surgery, Botox, fillers, and all the
You're
things
past your prime.
to suppress, like you said, suppress that. But eventually, these girls, not only are they insecure because they're doing something like OnlyFans and posting nudes and selling nudes for men to look at, maybe women, who knows? However you get your
I'm
jollies.
sure there's a market. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, you're already insecure in that essence. What's going to happen when the follower count drops or the money is not coming in anymore because there's a fresh, young, hotter version of you on the market now on OnlyFans?
Well, yeah, I mean that happens, right? And then they become
every
40,
day.
They become 40 years old with cats,
Yeah.
and they're like,
Yeah, and they're alone, they're lonely, and now what happens? They become more bitter towards men.
Yeah, had you just, gone with tradition, found a man, started a family,
Yeah.
and built something bigger, you wouldn't be in this predicament.
Women become bitter towards men on their own, by their own vice. So it's like, you're already bitter for whatever reason that you need to be bitter for. You don't even have a need to be bitter towards men. You just want to be bitter towards men because you hate the hierarchy and the patriarchy. But it's
Well, and like, what are you exactly building for? You know, you're
Exactly.
like collecting all this money, all these just stuff, And
Yeah.
if you're not going to have kids,
who you're sharing it with.
you're going to like collect all this stuff for 70 years and then
It's
you're going to die and then
selfish.
it's just
Yeah.
gone forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, have kids. That's like what we were made to do,
Yeah.
So question, who do you guys call, like when you have a big success in your career or life, who do you call?
my parents.
Okay, who do you call?
I call my sister a lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like when something good happens, like you call them. But like I think when you have like a relationship, that's like the person that you want to like share all of this with, right? Like life is meant to be shared with other people. Your success is meant to be shared with other people. Your wealth, the things that you're building, it's all meant to share and be a community. But like these people on OnlyFans and these people that are just making money and that heightened success, who are you sharing it with? Because like you said,
So
like
crazy.
you call someone and you're like, I can't imagine being at the top and like having all these big things happen in my life and having no one to call and no one to share with because your parents won't be there forever.
Faster you rise, faster you fall.
You
It's
won't.
very true, and especially with OnlyFans, I think it was over 1,000 girls made over $1 million last year on OnLyFans.
That's
So the rise to the top is so fast. But you're right, it crashes
you
super
crash
fast too.
even
But now
faster.
even like social media, like you ever see those interviews where they'll ask girls, they'll be like, "Would you rather give up your boyfriend or your Instagram?" And they all say Instagram. It's crazy. The
No, you
Unabomber
mean
was
they,
right.
They all say boyfriend. They'd
They
rather
say
give up their
boyfriend.
boyfriend.
They'd rather get rid of their
Yeah.
boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Well, maybe.
We just we're all selfish. Everyone is just becoming so selfish and self-absorbed, and
That is the problem. Selfishness. Yeah.
it's social media. Again, I say it probably every freaking episode.
Get rid of it, guys.
It's the
I would probably
facade.
agree. Yeah.
It breeds narcissism for
It's
sure.
the facade. Everyone,
Sociopaths.
That's why I'm addicted to Twitter. I have a massive head.
It's just you're showing a glimpse that's not even real. of
Carter's
your
Twitter
life.
famous.
It's hilarious
Are
because we're
you?
all
My
posting
Twitter.
on social. We got mics in front of
Yeah,
us.
we're
and
all
posting
like,
stuff on
we're just
social
gonna get
media.
rid of social
Yeah.
media.
Give us clout.
We're creating
social media
content
sucks.
for
But
you guys.
there's a way to control
Homestead.
it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what separates like the Western women are narcissistic. They're on social media for their own likes, their own self-validation that they're
Yeah.
seeking. They're seeking outside sources. If you're seeking it because you want to fulfill the word of God and you have a higher purpose and that's why you're that's why you're on social media because you want to share
Yeah.
that and be a leader, that's different. It comes down to narcissism and why you're doing it and where like why do you feel like you need those likes and followers?
I
And I
have a
think
question.
that's what leads to like passport bros, right? They're seeking because these women here, they're all narcissistic. They don't want to create a partnership with a man to build something greater, it's very hard. So now they have these things called passport bros, where they're going to other countries to find women because they don't think that they can find them here. Which, what is your take on that? Like, is it
Passport bros?
Yeah.
Passport bros, we up.
Geniuses.
It's the only solution to the problem of the West.
I actually just read, I think like, I don't know exactly how good my source is, so don't quote me on this, but like the Western population in Japan is like skyrocketing in the past few years. Like everyone's moving to Japan.
But their birth rate's in the toilet. So like that's probably
I'm not sure it's like extremely high, but it's spiked probably comparatively.
Oh, just by immigration?
Yeah.
They have a
people coming
super
into the
harsh immigration policy.
Really?
Are you sure about this?
I said don't
You
quote
sure
me on
about
it. I read it,
sure about
but I don't
that?
know the source is good. So
We're going to fact check him on that.
fact check me live. I'm pretty sure it's true though.
Yeah. So people are outsourcing women now because
Oh, it's AI and stuff? Oh, sorry. Finish what you were saying.
no.
This is an interesting topic too. All the AI women out there.
yeah.
It's crazy. Did you see the girl, the streamer, who they put her face on a porn
Yes.
girl?
Oh,
Just
I was
crying.
saying, well, there's like a legitimate, completely AI.
Girlfriend.
No, like social media influencers.
Yeah.
They're all AI, and
Oh
nobody
my
knows.
gosh.
They're fake.
Nobody knows that they're fake.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are. Sometimes they're like, I'm an AI influencer, but sometimes it's like they're so real.
Oh,
that
you wouldn't know.
You wouldn't even know if they just didn't tell you.
Did you guys see this show on Netflix? And it's like called Deepfake something, but it's like about how they will get someone in a relationship, put them all like, so it's like 10 couples in a house. Everyone gets drunk and parties on the weekends and they videotape them. And then you have to sit down the next morning and watch the tapes and they're going to show you something that's
Epstein running this?
yeah, maybe. And they'll show you a video and
Epstein didn't kill himself.
some of them are AI generated and it's like your partner cheating on someone and like it will show a video of them maybe having sex or like maybe like the whole
What?
thing
What?
of your
That's
partner.
illegal, though.
And
This
you have
is crazy.
And you have to be like, is this and like some people like snap watching it because they're like, oh my God, that's real. And sometimes it's not and sometimes it is. And it just depends. You have to call it like, is it
what's
real
the
or
game?
not? Yeah, and it's like, yeah.
Hold on.
But they've all signed waivers and it's in another country because it's like
Oh, it's
dubbed.
probably a
and it's on
Japanese.
Netflix.
Japanese has the craziest game
Britain
shows.
doing that shit too.
That doesn't sound good at all.
And I'm like, first of all, how
sounds
toxic is it? Like the
crazy.
people are watching, they're like, I can't take this anymore. Like it's fake. And then they're like, then they see something and like, no, that's real. He does that. Like I know that that's
What?
real. And then they'll be like, psych, this is all AI. But I'm like, well, imagine what that does to your brain.
Dude, it's crazy out here. I'm actually on the board of a company right now that's coming up in the dating app space. And this is crazy, but I don't know if you guys know this. A lot of dating apps astroturf the field, meaning that they have fake women there. And they'll do what's called, they call it chasing the dragon, where like right when a guy gets the dating app, they'll put a fake girl or a couple fake girls right at the front. And so they think like, oh my God, this beautiful girl liked me immediately. And so chasing the dragon is a term that drug users have, where it's
Yeah.
like the first high, they're always
Yeah.
chasing that because they
Yeah.
can't ever get it. So it's been weaponized by social media or by
That's
dating
wild.
apps. Yeah.
oh my gosh.
They do that in video games too. I'm a big video game guy. They'll always say like, "Oh, you're doing so good in the game," when really it's like they put you against like bots or something. So it's super easy. But just because like you win the first
Oh,
time and you're like,
sometimes
I
it's-
gotta keep playing. You just keep playing.
I know you like whip the bot's ass and then
Yeah.
the second round they're whipping your ass and you're like,
Yeah.
what the
But you experience the win the first time. It's
Just
like,
dopamine.
Yeah.
keep
That
playing,
one
just
hit.
try to-
Never forget the first time I won my
Yeah,
first match. Of
honestly, a genius
Fortnite.
strategy.
It is genius. Yeah. Chasing the dragon.
so
Nuts.
stoked.
So now we're going
Chasing
to
the
get
Fortnite
into
dragon.
the controversial topics for Western women. So what makes a Western woman a Western woman?
We just answered that, didn't we?
So like some
Oh,
like
sorry.
traits and qualities.
Yeah.
So like we're gonna identify them a little more closely because we talked about how like the traits that they have.
Okay.
This is a little more detailed.
Okay.
So something that we saw last night, we almost saw Flo
Not
Rida.
Flo Rida, that's for sure.
Not Flo Rida.
Not Flo Rida.
We almost
Answer your
saw Flo
DMs.
Rida.
Flo Rida,
Yeah.
you have 24 hours to respond.
Yeah, check your DMs.
What happened?
Yeah.
We went to Barstool Sports last night. We thought we were going to see Flo Rida, but we waited an hour and he never showed up. So,
Yeah.
He was a no-show.
but something we saw that we called out was these women dressing so promiscuously. So like you see like women wearing mesh tops and you can see their
Dressing is
boobs.
a strong word.
Yeah, they have
Slutty.
something on
They
them.
dress slutty.
They have a piece of fabric on them, and it's a piece, but it's like these girls are wearing mesh tops. You can see their butts. You can see their actual boobs. It's like everything hanging
I actually
out.
posted this on my stories last weekend about this this trend currently of girls wearing see-through tops and you can literally see their nipples. I'm like, you might as well
Crazy.
just not wear clothes.
How about girls wearing paint now? When did that become a thing? It's like, is that clothing? Can
No,
you do
that's
that?
true. People
Can you
do be
do
wearing
that?
They
pants.
be
I thought
wearing
that was
paint.
cosplay.
They be wearing pants.
Is that real life now?
Oh, and it's like parties and stuff like that.
Oh,
Or
what?
tape. You ever seen tape?
Tape.
I've
That's
seen tape.
crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
It's tape. Now it's
I saw a
clothes.
girl the other day wearing suspenders. That's it for the
Oh.
shirt. And so
Oh.
it,
What?
yeah. Crazy.
Gross.
That's
But,
an
like,
absurd thing to choose to wear.
You can go out-
The creative ways to be slutty are just wild. It's like everything in the book has been tried at this point.
As we were like leaving, we saw all these girls coming in with like barely anything on. Like I'm like, whoa, this is wild.
I can understand it's hot outside, but geez, put some
Jeez.
freaking clothes
Like,
on.
Truly, these girls were wearing just like bras, mesh shirts with their boobs, like actual, like you can see their nipples, and like the girl
I
dancing
don't
on
understand
stage,
that.
like barely anything on.
And they think it's like super attractive, but it's
No.
honestly a massive turnoff. It's just like weird, you know?
I feel like females don't really understand the male gaze too, because it's like you have to leave something up for imagination for there to be like
Yes.
something to chase.
I see
so to
it
speak.
all.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
know that everybody else in this bar also sees it all. So like,
Well, at that point, you're a slut.
Clip that.
I'm sorry.
I
That's
think-
going on Instagram. for
You're a
sure.
slut.
We literally
You're a
said,
slut.
We literally said, she must have daddy issues. She's got real bad daddy issues because I can see almost her vagina and I can see her tits.
Listen.
And I think she has a troubled history with her father. I can see it.
I think girls are always right now. Girls
crazy.
and young women are always in a constant competition with each other of
Who could be more naked?
who could be more naked, who could look more hot. But it's not hot because what you're doing
Ugh.
instead of trying to get, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to get a male's attention.
Yeah.
So they can go home and have sex with you and then never talk to you again. And your number goes up
Exactly.
and your body count goes up and then you're not a high value lady.
But-
so congrats. You played yourself.
What's happening is they're
Spit,
trying
baby,
to get some guy's attention so that they can go home and have sex. But what they're doing is
Yeah.
they're getting every guy's attention in the worst way possible. And like you said, everyone else has just
they're
seen what they
devaluing
saw.
themselves.
Yeah,
by
it's
doing
like the guy's already seen you naked, so he doesn't need to take you home, honey.
Yeah. They're also looking for sugar daddies. Let's be real. It's a
Yeah.
phenomenon. It's out
Yeah,
there.
that's true.
Yeah, so you
And
want
they're
to
open about it too. Like, I'm looking
You're
for a
gonna
sugar
dress like
daddy.
a
I know
slut
somebody like that.
and have sex with a guy and get paid for it, and that makes you a strong female woman? You're a strong feminist right there because you're getting paid to look like a slut.
And they get like encouraged too by others in that same kind of
Yes.
community.
You
So
go,
it's-
girl.
Yeah,
You
it's like
go, girl.
empowering to be completely naked
Yes,
outside a
queen.
bar.
What
Yes,
about-
queen.
But as soon as they get mad at each other, the first thing they do is slut shame each other. Let's be real. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Right when they're mad, the first insult is "You fucking slut." Every single time.
What about so this I have brought up this point before when girls kind of reassure each other and it's not in a positive way. It's like that's not a good thing that you're dressing like that and your friends shouldn't reassure you in that and reaffirm you. What about big girls
What about the big girls?
dressing
What a
Dressing like that
Dressing
little
like
girl.
that.
Okay, I saw
Big girls
someone
dressing
in,
like
dressing
little
like
girls.
that.
You're talking about plus size models? Is that what you meant to say?
No,
Yes.
I'm talking about big girls. I'm talking about obese
Big girls
women
wearing little girls'
That's what I meant.
clothes.
wearing clothes that
Plus-size women, you
that
mean?
do
Come on.
not fit.
I saw a woman at the airport the other day, and me and my coworker who was there, or colleague at the time, his name was Spencer. We're just in the airport waiting for our plane. This woman comes out of the elevator.
Massive.
Definitely plus size. Definitely plus size. Wearing basically what we were just describing.
Definitely eating good.
Almost nothing. In an
Donuts,
airport.
cheeseburgers.
And I was just like, first of all, how's that comfortable in an airport? You got to be about to get on a plane, right? And you're just
Yeah.
wearing basically nothing. And then it's just like, I don't know how people think that's attractive.
It's not, but they have friends and people in their corner going, wear that. You look so good, honey. God, you go, girl. And I'm like, no.
You're a liar.
You're lying. That does not look
The
good.
shirt barely fits.
Question, Megan. When you what makes you attracted to a man like dress wise?
Dress wise?
Can we not skip over this topic though? Because I want to say something about this.
Okay, go.
The way that big women somehow slid themselves into the oppression hierarchy is beyond me. They say that they're
yes.
oppressed
They're like
now.
Biden, right? My name.
They're
put
literally
big girls
they're
there.
in magazines as plus size models,
Yeah.
and big women want to say that they're oppressed. Who is oppressing you?
We-
And
the airlines.
No, that's what they say. They say the airlines are oppressing them for
You have
making
more
them buy
food than all
2
of
seats
us.
or something like
Exactly.
that.
You've actually consumed more food than the
You
average
could not
human
eat for
being.
5 years
Crazy.
and be fine.
Yeah, like your body would eat itself.
You can hibernate. I'll see you next winter.
We are getting flagged. We are gonna get flagged for this.
Okay.
Oh, that was
Anywho, moving on, since we can't to roast them too hard.
I know.
Moving on to the next subject. Also, but like, quick question for men: what
Oh yeah, I was interested in this question.
dress wise? Like, what makes you attracted?
Like
to
if a man was wearing just overalls over his nipples, would you be?
Oh,
attracted to
I'd
that?
be like, absolutely not. I also hate the mullets. I can't.
Really?
I can't do the mullets.
I disagree.
I mean, go for it, Morgan Wallen. That's great. I
think my brother has a
Theo
mullet right now.
Vaughn. That's great.
Oh, so Theo Vaughn's ugly too, huh?
I don't think he's ugly. I just can't get down with the mullet.
He's not attracted to you.
No.
Don't worry, Theo. I can.
I
Me too, Theo.
have different. I mean, it just depends on the taste. I just want a guy to look
But like
like
dress
he's
wise, we're talking
showered
about like
and put together.
I feel like when a man is dressed like he's about to go into an important meeting, that's hot.
So like, a high status,
all
right?
the
Because
time?
they're appearing like they're high status.
Or
They're
just
wearing
like,
nice clothes.
but like that's like to me that's really attractive. Like I feel like when you see a man in a suit, you're like, damn, like he looks good. And I
Man, a
think,
purple
like,
button down.
yeah, and I think purple button.
Flower gun down as well. Come on.
But I think also like when a woman is dressed like that too, like when she's dressed up like a man's like, damn, she look good. Like it's kind of like similar. Like you just see each other dressed up
No,
very
we
nice.
don't want that shit.
Yeah, sorry.
No, like you don't think a woman
you guys
in a
always
dress?
say that.
Yeah, is it a lie?
Here's
That's
where,
not-
Wait, no,
That's not
hold on.
hot.
I'm on board
Here's-
with the dresses. Women
here's
in
what I
Oh,
dresses.
call-
dress?
Yeah.
But you were saying like she's about to go to a business meeting.
No,
She's
I mean like a dress. Like you're dressed well. Like you're dressed for importance. Like a
No,
woman is
we don't
wearing a
care about
dress.
that.
Actually, I actually do. I think a woman who knows how to dress is definitely
knows how to dress for sure, but like, what are we talking here? What is she wearing?
What
Just
is
describe
the
it.
most attractive outfit a girl can wear?
We're
for
talking
you
about like a
guys?
sundress, beautiful, love it.
See,
But we're
I don't
talking
know.
about like
if a
you're
woman's
wearing
like
like
really into streetwear too, like knows her shit, like that's also pretty attractive to me.
Okay, so you like stylish women.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything particular
it's
where you're
not
like,
like a
what is
deal
a
breaker
head
either
turner
way,
for
but-
you?
yeah.
head turner. That's actually a great question.
See, for
Man.
me, it's like
Sundress is nice. I really like the
Sundresses,
sundress.
yeah.
Sundress is nice. Kind of gives a little southern vibe too, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, she's probably wholesome. You know what I mean?
yes, it's very wholesome.
Very wholesome, right? Other than that, I mean, I don't even know. What I got to think about some different outfit types here. Like, what are I
Would you
describe
rather
some?
see a girl like in jeans, or would you
Jeans.
And,
rather
like, a cute
see
tank
her
top.
in like leather pants?
Leather pants? Nah, I'm not
Okay.
really down with that.
There you
I don't
go.
really care about leather pants. That's
Jeans,
kind of-
like, well, though, I guess.
Yeah. See, now we're
What
getting
girls
a
wear to
guy's
church?
take.
I like what girls wear to church.
Okay.
Give me a church girl.
yeah, I could agree with that.
Okay.
I
I think this is a very broad question.
Yeah, okay. If we can do like that though, like the
Yeah.
corporate setting, not as much
Yeah.
attractive outfits. The kind of like degenerate side, club side, not really down with that
Yeah,
either.
and-
Somewhere in the church kind of category.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Modest.
Modest, yeah. Modest, but like nice.
Modest is the
Up
hottest.
kept, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next discussion for Western women. How do you guys feel about Botox, fillers, plastic surgery on women? Do you think that makes them a Western woman if they do those things?
No, it makes me a passport bro is what it makes me.
yeah, I agree. It's unnatural. You know,
Here's the
just
thing.
Get out of here.
I don't think you guys would notice if it was done correctly.
We notice. Get out of here
Now
with that.
she has kind of a point. Like
With which one?
So,
Botox easy.
so listen, there are a lot of women that get it where they want people to notice.
Mhm.
But there
Yeah.
are a lot of women that get it to just enhance features on their face that they might be insecure about. And they want it done in a way where men and women do not notice. So
Yeah.
if
No,
you,
we noticed, though.
If you,
there's definitely levels. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure we haven't noticed all of them, but like there is a point that it okay. Now I notice and it looks unnatural.
Do you think I
Yes.
have any work done?
No.
what about me?
I don't think
No,
either of you do.
I wouldn't say either of you guys do. Are we wrong?
I don't have any.
You had your lips done.
Well, I had my lips done years
Yeah.
ago, but they're not like it's not.
Oh, well,
they're
you're wrong.
gone.
Yeah.
I have Botox and I have filler.
Really?
Yes.
Well, we were wrong on both.
now I feel awkward even saying I'm anti-filler, but
No.
Well, you guys asked
and that's
us,
why I
so.
brought that up because I do it because I have like paper thin lips, but I do it because that's a big insecurity of mine. And I make sure I go to somebody that makes it look like
No.
I haven't had it done and makes it look natural to my face. Because I don't want to be like
yeah,
duck lips out here. I just want it to look natural.
Yeah.
This is mind blowing.
Yeah.
See?
You guys were you're like, no, we know.
No.
No.
I was so overconfident. I'm not gonna
He
lie.
was very confident.
Yeah.
So what about filters in Photoshop?
Yeah.
Like when a girl like
Contours her body.
Yeah, so they're just fake signaling.
Oh my God, you feel so bad right now.
When is this over?
Yeah. Now I feel bad even talking about this.
It's totally fine. I do not
no,
care.
guys, stir the pot.
I do
Okay,
not care.
look. The more
It was a setup, really. You know, we're gonna be honest.
there's
It's a
times and
setup.
places for it. I think if, particularly in kind of like a more medical sense, I think there's definitely a time and a place. But I would almost always prefer just your natural self. The more natural a person is, the better. Probably the more healthier the person will be mentally, physically, and I think just generally more attractive if they're just really just completely natural. I don't even like women who wear like a lot of makeup.
They just embrace themselves.
Yeah, it kind of it has like there's like a confidence to the woman where they're not like you see the woman and you're like, I know if that woman's attractive or not. The woman's not wearing, layers of makeup where like who knows what she's gonna look like, after she takes.
Natural beauty is so hot. Let's just be real.
Yes,
it is
exactly.
so
Natural
much hotter.
beauty, yes.
I was talking to a girl last night and she was like, do you think I'm hotter with makeup or without makeup? It's easy without makeup, like not even close.
And
it's like stunning. It's like mind blowing to women when you say that.
All women are always like, what, really? Because like women are the ones that invented, women are the ones like wearing makeup. And no guy is really telling a woman to wear makeup generally. I don't know, maybe probably.
Yeah.
But not any high value men anyway.
It was rouge for the lips and cheeks to make women look more youthful.
It is. It's sexual signaling.
So a lot of women would either like pinch their cheeks to make them red back in the day, and then they started making rouge, which is pink and reds, to dab on their cheeks to make them look more flushed, because when women have orgasms, they get flushed and it turns a man on.
Wow.
So that's where that came from.
Based. Do y'all see Peterson get canceled for saying this?
No.
He went on, he had a Vice interview back in the day, and he said, like, should women be able to, or have the ability to wear makeup in the workworkplace because it's sexual signaling? And so he's basically saying, where is the line?
Interesting.
How much can you sexually signal?
Wow.
Because it's like really short skirts is not like that's beyond the limit, right?
Yeah.
But you can wear makeup, you can get botox, you can do all kinds of different other sexual signaling. So where is the line? And so that they clipped him and took it out of context and tried to cancel him. But
That's
it's
a very interesting take.
topic though, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Interesting
where
question,
is
yeah.
the line? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's very
That's true.
undefined. And so there's all the weird stuff like in like Netflix or like CNBC, I think it was, where it's like you can't look at somebody in the eyes for a long period of time, or you can't hug for certain amounts of time. So it's like it's really going like a certain direction.
I always make eye contact.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I like
Fired.
looking in people's eyes. People have interesting eyes.
I like it.
Everyone's got unique eyes. So interesting.
Just like, sorry, I'm just staring into your
Little
eyes.
galaxies in everyone's head.
So we kind of like hit
Am I
all of
wrong?
this stuff, but like, what do you guys think if you guys go to a girl's Instagram and there's a lot of pictures, like selfies, there's a lot of pictures of just her outfits or like a lot of skin showing? Like, how do you guys personally feel? Like, if you like a girl, you meet her at a bar, she seems really great, and then you go to her Instagram and it's like all these pictures of her in bathing suits and skimpy outfits, and like, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. The less a woman is on social media, the more attractive the woman is.
and like just the better she is in person, generally speaking, usually.
But I think it probably comes down to like modesty generally. Like
Yeah.
if a woman likes to post on Instagram or whatever, but like she's modest about it, it's like, it's whatever. I do think like the modesty is really what is like a red flag. If they're posting, bikini pics all the time, then it's like, but if they're just posting a picture of their dog, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, like how much validation is she seeking from?
Oh, it's
that?
all
It's- yeah.
validation. It's all affirmation from outside people that they don't even know. But I want to get your opinion on single moms who post promiscuous photos, and then the next photo is of them and their kid or kids.
Go ahead.
No, please.
Well, personally, I'm not attracted to single mothers, period. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the line. I mean, I want to have my own kids.
No,
with
that's
my
fine.
wife.
That's fine. Totally value that opinion.
And
But-
like, shout out to all the, the people that marry single mothers. But, I would say just personally,
Not your cup of tea.
not for me.
But do you think that it's weird for like a single mom to post like a photo of herself in her bathing suit with her tits out, and then
Yeah,
like the
well,
next
I mean,
photo is
it's-
like, I love my son.
It's kind of, it's kind
It
of
is
crazy because
weird.
she's got kids, but she's on the sexual marketplace. So she's like,
Yeah,
she's signaling and she's so.
Sexual signaling.
yeah.
Yeah.
I also think they're forgetting that a digital footprint does exist, and
Yes.
whatever you are posting, your kids will see.
Yes.
That's true. Yeah, they know what they're
Yeah.
doing though because they're trying to get a man. You know?
Did you
Yeah.
guys see that kid that I think he was in elementary school and it was some news story? He went to school and he got bullied because someone pulled up his mom on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And he was like
Damn.
depressed and
That's
like was going
crazy.
through it. And he's like,
Wow.
this is your
Yeah.
mom. Your mom's a slut. And like showing the kids that and like that. I'm like, that's the
That's
real thing
so
that people are going to
sad.
be dealing with because now your kids are going to know. It's the internet. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
so sad.
Your kids are going to see these pictures that you are putting on the internet. It's very accessible. It's very easy to find, and they're just allowing all of this to happen, and they don't really care. Or when they do see, they're like, "Oh, well, it's a women empowerment. I feel empowered doing it."
You're
And
ruining your kid's life
they're like, "No, that's how mommy feels empowered."
by ruining my life, mommy.
Not by having a kid and raising him.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing it to raise you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah, single mothers on OnlyFans. What are your thoughts?
What kind of question is that?
Thoughts,
They were asking.
yeah, thoughts on
that was their
single
question.
Anyone on
mothers?
OnlyFans, is a
Red
massive
flag.
L. Although
Yeah.
somebody did tell us the other day that apparently a lot of rappers are on OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's not only
but releasing
porn.
like
Yeah.
music, which
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't. I that's probably not true. I don't know if I believe that.
It's like the new SoundCloud.
but
Some new
just,
SoundCloud.
yeah.
but generally speaking, if you're on OnlyFans, it's just a massive red flag.
You're just anti-porn in general. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely anti-porn.
Yeah.
And not only because of just how it kind of makes, I don't know, society worse in general because of what is actually being shown, but a lot of people miss the massive market for sex trafficking in the porn industry.
Very true.
Yes.
People are like, oh, it's porn, it's gross and all this stuff, and it destroys man's mind.
you
But
are-
also
Yes.
is the number one market for child and sex trafficking across the world is porn.
People also know that porn is also a weapon. It's been used in war. It's a war tactic.
Wow.
Yeah,
I believe that.
it is.
It
Yeah.
messes with the chemicals of your brain.
Yeah.
It's so
Desensitizes
horrible.
you, makes me more docile. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't really want to go fight after you watch porn. You know
Like
what I mean?
if you're watching porn, you are enabling the global sex trafficking business.
Yes.
Yeah,
You are the
100%.
market, and you're participating in it
You're
knowingly.
literally- yeah, no, it's very
Knowingly.
true. I
Yeah.
mean, you're masturbating to some girl that's like probably crying afterwards
And
after
it-
the camera's going
And it does not
It's
matter
very
if you
sad.
have like a lot of people will argue, there's like safe porn or ethical porn and stuff. No, if
Porn is porn.
any kind of porn is furthering the business
Yeah.
of sex trafficking, 100%.
Yeah.
That's why one of our first episodes, I think it was our first episode, was
Yeah.
on porn.
Yeah. And
Go check it out. If
And
you
that
guys have
was-
not seen it yet.
that was something we missed. We might just do it again.
Yeah.
Talking about the sex trafficking part
Yeah.
of it, which is huge. But we've mostly got
Sound
into
of
the
freedom.
addiction of it.
Yeah.
It's all
I
Jeffrey
know.
Epstein's
Sound of
fault.
freedom.
So we haven't discussed Western men yet, so let's go over that
Okay.
real
Boy.
quick. So just some like flags of what makes someone a Western man. I think letting a girl pay for a date. Like you guys are
Ooh.
just starting out. How do you guys
Red
feel
flag.
about it?
Yeah,
Drop
can't
that
even
man's.
split it. No split bill.
Yeah, you can't
Gotta be.
split a bill.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
not
you
gentlemen.
are paying for. I don't even if it's like definitely on first date, you should pay.
Yeah.
I don't even like to let the woman pay almost ever. Like you always
Yeah.
like. I mean, yeah, you should pay for the food for sure. If you take a woman on a date, you pay.
Yeah.
That's just how it
I
should
agree.
work.
Yeah, I like the whole like sneak off when you go to the bathroom and like put your card on or whatever and already pay for it, so it's just done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a good one because you're in, you're out, and then not even a bill on the table.
Yeah, that's a good move.
That's
They're like,
good.
and they come
That's
out like,
smooth.
you took care of it?
At
Wow.
what point
That's
do you start
exactly what I'm
letting-
looking for. That response.
I'm actually sometimes a little bit offended when the woman offers to pay.
Tries to pull out her
I'm
wallet.
almost like, come on.
It's like,
no.
really?
At what
Have some
point do you let a
respect.
girl pay?
If we're not together,
Yeah,
We're
if you're in the
not-
friend zone, she's paying.
Ooh.
yeah, or if
That's
it's like
good.
if it's complicated or whatever, sorry, see ya.
And
We're
it's
paying.
complicated.
I feel like something that also makes someone a Western man is like the hookup culture. If a man is participating
Yeah.
in the hookup culture, you are a Western man.
Ooh, all right. Do you guys care about body count? What is there a body count too high where it's a red flag for you guys?
I honestly, don't ask only because I feel like it can be easily eliminated to think that a man is a hoe if you're dating the right people. Like, I care about things that are much deeper than that. Like, if a man is like extremely loyal and you can tell, like, that man is all about you. He has all these masculine qualities. Like, he wants to protect you. He wants to provide. He's talking about the future. He wants to build a family. He's not dating to date, but he's dating to marry.
Yeah.
And he takes things very seriously. Like, those are the things that I look for. And I think it kind of just like weaves out the question of like, what is your body count? Because I trust you. If we've gone through the dating process and you are all those things to me, I trust you and we built that. I just think the body count can be irrelevant in that sense, because like, why would I ask that? I trust you and I know you not to sleep with anyone else.
So loyalty within the relationship is really more important than your previous relationships.
I think when people ask body count, it comes out of a place of insecurity. Like, I feel like you're
even from the guy perspective.
I will say I've never had like a guy in my like recent relationships. I haven't had a guy ask me that, but I feel like it's because they also probably know. Like, if I'm not giving it up easily,
you get into it whether they
probably are not even going to ask because it's just like not a concern.
True.
And I feel like it's the same thing for a man. Like, if I'm dating a guy and he's gonna give it up, like, I'm probably like, oh wow, maybe he does that to a lot of girls. But if you you have a guy that's also not going to do that and like tells you he wants to wait and make it like until like a bigger moment or something like that, like, I don't need to ask him his body count. Like, I feel like it kind of just comes from the mannerisms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. If you're like worried that they have a high body count, they probably have a high body count.
Yeah.
And then you're probably in the wrong relationship. If you're like,
Yeah.
I feel like I need to ask how many people she slept with, and I don't feel like you're in the right relationship. And I feel like vice versa. If I'm asking a guy about his body count because I'm insecure or like I feel like he has a high body count, like whatever that balance is like as to why I'm asking that, it's probably like already a sign that it's maybe not a good thing.
But the heart of the question though, does the body count matter though?
Yeah, I was going to get down.
The heart of the question, he's a great guy, but then he says, 50 bodies.
Okay, so I've experienced this. I've dated someone and that it was probably like a man slut, but I thought he was a good guy. And I will say, like, guess what? I thought he had a high body count, didn't ask, didn't need to because he probably did. And he was still a shitty guy. Like, no matter what I believed, I wanted to believe he was a good guy and I wanted to believe that he was better because, I'm an optimist and very optimistic, and he wasn't. So I learned my lesson. So probably like end of case, it probably does matter. He was a hoe, like I suspected, but I should have just not talked myself out of it.
There's always signs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's signs.
Pick them up.
And you can ignore them, but they're still there.
Yeah, true. But what about if a guy asks, like, I want to marry a virgin? Is that a red flag to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's my thing. I think it's great and all if you want to be celibate until marriage. Cool. You're in for a very rude awakening if it's very bad. That's what I have to say.
Oh, really? So you think the people should have sex before marriage?
Yes.
What do you mean very bad?
Not very conservative.
What's the rude awakening? If what's very bad? Sex?
Yeah.
With the person?
What if it's really bad?
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't know. You're a virgin.
Oh, so but if they care about someone else's virginity, that doesn't necessarily mean that they themselves are a virgin.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess I was assuming that.
If they're both virgins and it's terrible, they'd probably think it's great.
They would think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I've heard others say like they've had sex before and then they meet their person and then they haven't had sex together and they make a plan to be celibate until they get married. Cute. But what if it's terrible?
All right, let
You
me
can
push
get
back
good
on
at
this.
sex, though.
I was
Like,
about to
it's
say,
not like,
that's actually
especially as a
arguably
woman,
that's like a good thing. If you have, you have to practice to get good at
like
sex.
if she's super well trained, that means she's had a lot of experience.
If you're like learning with your significant other, I mean, that's a majority of a relationship anyway, is most of the time you're learning with the person. Even if you've been in tons of relationships, everybody's different. So the entire relationship is like a whole learning process with the person. You're learning about the person, learning how to go through these new stages of a relationship, especially if you're still a virgin or whatever. I think that's honestly pretty attractive in a relationship.
it's a green flag.
It is.
Yeah.
I like what you said that you learn with a partner.
Yeah, I never
I
thought
feel
about
like
it that
I've
way.
never thought about that, but I think it makes a lot of sense.
That
And I
does make
think
sense.
It can be a really good thing, and like as you should. Like everyone's
Yeah,
different.
because like totally, it's not like, oh, like we're gonna have sex once, and it's like, oh, was she good at it? Was she not good at it? It's like you're having this whole progression of like
Yeah.
and you guys are having sex together. It's not like, oh, this is an act where two people are playing different roles. It's like y'all are becoming one flesh, so to speak. And it's, more of an intimate thing where it's like both of you guys are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, you could have tons of sex, but you haven't had sex with this person yet. And it's just going to be different every time.
Yeah. It's a good way to look at it.
That is a good point.
You may have changed my mind.
Would you guys ever live with a girl like before marriage?
I debate this a lot in my head because
No, never.
Solid no.
because the rates are, according to the data, if you live together before marriage, there's a higher likelihood of you getting divorced. And it's like undisputed data, and the number's actually way higher. So with that being said, there is that. But at the same time, I don't know, the divorce rate is still 50%. So you're playing house, so to speak. And, it kind of depends on the intention going into it, because if your intention is somewhat like, I want to live together to see if this is working, but like backdoor, I want to be able to back out at any time.
Yeah.
You already have a foot out the door.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like kind of what you're saying. It's like, you don't know what somebody's going to be like, especially living with them forever. It's like, you kind of want to like, what is this person like to live with before I sign a contract to lose half my shit?
But like Carter said, like you grow together, and like, yes, it might be hard to live with someone at first, but like you are going to grow together, and like you have that commitment and that oath to each other to kind of work on that and figure out a way to live with each other. Just like you would have a sexual relationship with someone, it's going to get better every day. And you figure out someone's likes and dislikes, and you figure out how to balance that and make it better. And
hopefully.
What about like your significant other, your girlfriend, like staying over at your place all the time? You like make her a drawer, you like give her own little cabinet. Is that not the same thing?
Definitely not the same thing. I mean, I guess when you say all the time, is she literally living, is she staying there literally
Like
all the time?
5 nights a week.
Yeah, like she's there all the time.
I mean,
Her stuff's not there. Not all her stuff is there.
But some of her stuff.
But some of the stuff.
She's got a
She paying
toothbrush
rent?
there.
Not paying rent. She got a
toothbrush?
She got a toothbrush there. She got her contact solution. I mean, like, she got her snacks in the pantry.
Yeah.
I mean,
Snacks is where my line is.
yeah, if she's eating my
Draw a
snacks,
line of
she's out.
snacks.
We're done if you eat my snacks. I guess it just depends on the situation, but generally I would say that living with the other person before marriage is just generally a bad idea. I guess it's probably a little different if it's like, oh, I just have a drawer. It's like whatever, and I'm there, half the week or whatever. It's like, okay, we can debate that. But moving in with somebody, I just think you're moving in with somebody. Are you renting an apartment together? All your furniture is there. You're like, that's a big commitment, moving in with somebody, to be unsure. I mean, if you're dating somebody, you're unsure, right? It's not until you pose the question and get married that you're actually sure. And so you're going into, you're moving in with somebody who you're unsure about still. That's what an entire relationship is. You're unsure until you're married. Now you're sure.
Yeah.
So that's just a dangerous activity to get into.
All right, but get into why. I want to hear why.
To move in with somebody.
Yeah.
Before marriage.
So what if the relationship doesn't work out? That's just a pain in the ass.
Oh, to move. I mean, come on. It's way less of an issue than if you were actually married. That's actually the argument of like why you should try it. That's why I want to hear your actual argument.
Well, that was my argument. It was
So let me give you my take on this.
It'd be a more brutal breakup.
Come on.
No, you keep going.
You got something better than that.
So I lived with my ex, didn't marry him, but we were like, when we were dating to marry.
Yeah.
Like that's how it got established. And then like we just happened to like both of our leases were ending, and we're like, let's just like get a house and move in together. And like I'm like, I want to marry you. Like all of my future is in you. Like I want this and I want to marry you. And we moved in before we were married or anything like that. Dad told me not to. My parents were pissed.
Yeah.
They're like, this is the dumbest thing that you're ever gonna do. I was like, no, I love him and I want to marry him, and like this is what I want. Did it. And I think it makes him a Western man because he allowed me to do it. The man allowed me to do it. Yes, it was my own choice, but he just like used that as a way for like to get the wifely things without marrying me. And I was stupid enough.
It delays the question. It delays.
And I think
the
it makes him a
proposal.
Western man for like, I guess like maybe like not using me because I allowed it. I enabled it. I was willing to do it, but he should have proposed and married me if you're going to live with me for years and do that. And I think that if you are going to live with a woman, marry them. Like if
Did
you
he
are,
cheat on you?
Can
I ask?
yes.
Because it's a good, I could definitely see how it'd be a good leverage point where you'd be stuck and he could cheat on you.
Yes.
Yes. It
So
it delays It delays the proposal. It delays the
Yeah.
marriage.
But it doesn't have
Okay,
to.
hold
on. Doesn't have
It's
to.
intentional. Because
It
like
can.
if its intention was to
but
lock
if
you
you're
down,
gonna live
but
together,
also
then just marry her.
Let me
Yeah.
back up my weak argument here, DJ.
Okay.
Okay, so going back to the roles thing, there are specific roles that make, I think, a successful relationship, and specifically a marriage. And when you move in with somebody, I think there is maybe it is spoken, maybe it's unspoken, of an accepting of those roles when you move in.
Yeah.
And like, for instance, if I'm making most of the money and my wife doesn't have to work, then I expect to come home to dinner
Yeah.
because I paid, I've spent all day at work. That just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, makes sense. Or maybe I expect to come home to a clean house or whatever.
yeah.
I'm going to get so much flack for saying that, but it's true. So moving into with somebody, you kind of are admitting to accepting these roles. If you're still just dating and you're still unsure, then why would the woman and why would the man accept these roles like temporarily? It just seems...
Just to see if it's a good fit. Like, does the
It's
shoe
almost
fit?
like
try
let's
it
play
out.
house.
It is playing house.
It's
Yeah.
playing house. It's like, it's almost fake.
Yeah.
You know?
But
because it's like...
yeah, it is.
It's like a trial.
What's the
a marriage
progression?
trial.
Yeah.
Like,
Playing
what's the
house, yeah.
progression here?
When will I be good enough for,
no, no.
like, when will this be good enough to actually make it official?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that was very unconvincing, but I will say this.
Fair.
It's okay, so those roles that you're
I'm
speaking
very
of,
underwhelmed.
the roles you're speaking of, you would much rather find out whether she would play that role or not before you sign a contract to lose half your shit. So if she does play the role, okay, so let's say both have really good intentions, but you want to find out, like, is this person, because you can say all you want, like, oh, I want to come home and there's dinner on the table and there's food, there's food in the pantry,
But it sounds
and there's
like
clothes
this
in
is a
the drawer.
trust issue. Like, you
Well,
don't
no,
trust that
it's a-
she's going to do this.
come through
so
on
you
her-
feel like you need to test it. This is a test. Why are you testing a woman that you feel like you want to marry?
I
So you want to
Oh,
test
come on.
it?
The
I
whole
understand-
relationship is a test up
I
until you get
understand
married.
your argument. I do.
Everything you
I
do is a
understand it.
test.
But like, it sounds like to me, like, I'm going to find someone that, like, I trust you enough that I know you're going to do those things. Like, that's just the way I see things, and maybe which is why I
But
end
it
up
comes back to
disappointed.
it comes back to your reciprocal.
I also think
Reciprocity, yeah.
this probably
Yeah.
also leverages a lot on whether or not the person's going to have sex before they're married with the person. Because if you aren't going to have sex before you marry the person, then obviously it's just a bad idea to move in with the person
Yeah.
naturally, unless you're going to be sleeping in different
I'd
rooms.
love to hear your argument there.
You're telling me you're going to
I
live
didn't
with a
say-
woman
I didn't
and not have
say-
sex with her?
Well, that wasn't even on the table before.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But don't just gaslight me. Give an argument.
no, I'm saying that that point, the house
Trust me,
thing-
we do this all the time. This is, yeah. We're not pissed at each other. This is how guys talk.
Let the men speak.
We've never thrown hands.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
Hey, what was I even saying?
That you shouldn't live together and have sex before you get married.
No, I'm saying the person who isn't going to have sex before they're married, it would be a really bad idea for that person to move in
You're
together.
constantly tempted.
Yeah.
I'm still hearing the premise. Can I get the argument?
Are you going
Temptation.
because you're going to sleep in the same bed with a woman?
And get naked.
We're just rehashing the premise. I mean, you're not actually giving an argument. It might be bad, but you're just saying you're going to sleep with the person. You're going to live with the person. Like, these aren't more. You're not building an argument. You're just saying what was
Well, then-
already.
You disagree that that's a bad idea?
I didn't
you're trying to
disagree.
save
I'm,
it for
I'm
marriage.
trying to hear your argument.
That's the argument. Is that it's
It's
a bad idea because it's
The
it's a
temptation that
massive
lurks
temptation.
may
But
keep
it's not only a
I
temptation.
don't. Look, you
you're
might
kind
be
of-
right, but you're not. It's completely circular.
Okay, so
And
listen.
that by definition,
You move
that
in
is
together.
fallacious.
You sleep in the same bed. There's this constant temptation of, so he's taking a shower, he's naked, he's gonna come out and get dressed. I'm gonna have to constantly look at that. It's temptation, and then that takes away from me wanting to actually save that for marriage and to have that on my wedding night. And it takes
Okay.
away from that special moment of having sex when I planned to, when I wanted to do it with my husband, and now I did it earlier, and it kind of like ruined. If that's what someone's doing, I'm not saying
It's
I'm doing
also
that.
not
but-
logistically like smart. You know, you're telling me that if you have like I don't know, if you don't have separate bedrooms, you live in the same bedroom. Logistically, it's just kind of stupid. You're telling me like, are you going to different rooms to change? Then that's weird. And then like, oh, I'm gonna take a shower, so like, don't go in the bedroom right now. It's like logistically, it's just a nightmare.
It makes things harder.
Yeah, it would
like
make
when
things
you
so
want,
difficult.
if you want to have that expectation, don't put yourself in front of temptation. If you want that expectation, stop tempting yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, both of y'all are coming from the point of like having or not having sex, but living together.
But I'm not saying, like, I'm saying, like, just living together in general. Sure, maybe if you are having sex before marriage, like, the thing that is hard is, like, if you're going to live together, I don't think that you need to necessarily test that relationship because your relationship should be strong enough
to move in together.
Yeah, it should be strong enough to get married. Like, here's the thing. Like, when I moved in with him, there was like we never butt heads. Like, there was no issues that came from living together necessarily. Like, it wasn't like, oh, the house isn't clean enough. Like, it was actually the best living situation. It ended up being really great. But I think when it comes down to the sense that a man's should want to marry you. Like if he's doing all these things, like he should want that next step and like want to propose and want to marry a woman and have that.
And that's fair. But we started this whole conversation off of saying that like going into it with their intentions being pure. And with your situation, we kind of already delegated the fact that it wasn't pure intentions because he cheated on you.
Yeah, he did. But I'm saying
not even anything against you. I'm just saying for the sake of
asshole.
But I think if a man is willing to live with a woman and like even vice versa, like that kind of that you're not married to, that kind of makes you a Western man. It kind of seems like you're a pussy because you won't get down on one knee and commit your rest of your life to a woman. Like then why are you even moving in together? Like, why do you feel like you need to test this relationship? I don't want to test. I don't want to be like, oh, well, I don't. It's like asking someone their body count. That like, oh, I don't trust them. Let me put them in a situation where I have to constantly test them. Women do this a lot. Men do this a lot. And I'm like, if you have to test your partner,
everything you do is a test.
No, that's a vow. Like that is a vow. And this is like, we're building a unit and we're building a legacy.
Yeah.
That's not a test. A test is asking someone their body count. A test is moving in together before you're married. Like you shouldn't have to test your relationship. And if you do, it's not a good one.
I personally think there is nothing wrong with being a little bit cautious with the rest of your life.
And let's be real. The man is taking all of the risk by marrying the woman.
Yeah, because
financially, at least.
Yeah, essentially, if we're going in the traditional way that we've been talking about, yes,
unless
absolutely.
you sign a prenup.
Unless you sign a prenup, yeah. Which would, I don't even know if we want to get into
Would you make a woman sign a prenup?
Would I sign a prenup?
Would you make a woman sign a prenup?
I don't know. Did you ever hear Michael Knowles' prenup? I thought that was a very interesting point.
No.
Oh, what was it?
He says, you can get divorced, but whoever initiates the divorce doesn't get any of the money. So it all goes to the person who's doing the one that's leaving.
Is a genius prenup.
So it really is just like...
I'd sign it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's the incentives are almost reversed.
Yeah.
Because it's from the girl's perspective anyway. Well, I guess if the guy initiates divorce, she still gets half the shit. So it's really either way. But that being said, I'm still not convinced. I don't know. If I hear a compelling argument, I would definitely be on board with it. I think the best argument is the data because the divorce rate is higher if you live together. That being said,
wait, are you anti-prenup?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going back to our previous conversation.
I
think the Knowles prenup is worth considering.
But are you anti-prenup though?
I just said the Knowles prenup is worth considering.
So that one's like
that one.
Okay.
Well, I think a prenup, you determine what's in it.
Yeah.
Do you? I don't.
Yeah, you write your own prenup.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I
have
think
to
that's
be.
a really good one. And I think it kind of just commends like the relationship, right? Like if the statistics are true saying that women are the ones that provoke the divorce, then in that case, it kind of prevents a woman from wanting to do it, right? Because like they're the ones that are... the women tend to be the ones that
initiate divorces.
The divorce.
Yeah, that is definitely true. The divorce rate's just going up every year. So it's interesting, right? Because it's like, how do we solve this kind of crisis? And
religion. I think a lot of people are missing God in their relationship too. I think it comes down to being godless. Like it's very rare. Like there are people that do it and like you see it because you go to church. But outside of that, there's a lot of couples that just are married and like they don't put any morals and values and tradition in their relationship. It lacks that.
And they are married?
It's very lackluster.
You're saying that's kind of, isn't that an argument of why you'd actually want to try it out first before you sign a contract?
But I feel like...
Because then you would know and then you wouldn't be stuck.
But I don't know. The thing is, I think if you're dating the right person... And like I think conservatives may date, I would hope that they date a little differently, especially the right-wing ones, because we're looking for someone that wants to build a family, that wants tradition. A lot of couples don't have these conversations before marriage, which is very weird.
Yeah.
Like they don't talk about if they want kids until after they're married. They don't talk about who's going to stay at home and take care of the kids. They don't talk about like what's going to happen. Like a lot of people don't plan out what's going to happen after marriage. They just want to get married.
Since the whole like against testing the waters thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get engaged and you go to couples counseling to discuss your future as a couple, is that not testing?
Sure, no, and there's a multitude of tests all along the
Yeah.
way. You might not want
I
to
don't
call
think
it
that's
tests.
testing. I think that's a conversation that everyone should be having before they
A
get
test
married.
is an interesting word because it sounds like you're like giving them a piece of paper and checking boxes.
That's a
but-
conversation. Couples counseling is a deep conversation of where you want this relationship to go. And do you guys align on these things? Because marriage, people think that they think as far as wedding and then bam, that's it. No one really thinks ahead of like, what are we going to do at retirement?
But
Like,
I think
what are we going to do when our kids
essentially-
are out of the house?
You're opening yourself up. I mean, test might not be the right word, but you're opening yourself up.
To a conversation.
Mm.
Of like, hey, like,
Maybe they are, maybe
who's
they're
gonna,
not. Who knows?
Who's going to take care of the kids? And then the wife is like,
Say your piece. What are you thinking right now?
It's not all that. It's not just all that. I mean, you're opening yourself up to hearing how they grew up. You're opening yourself up to
it's a conversation.
It is a conversation, but it is also an emotional tacting thing. Like
An emotional, deep conversation, which is a lot of things in a relationship.
Okay.
That's how it should start.
I think,
Okay.
so the word test is like kind of throwing this conversation sideways. Everything you do, you're constantly judging each other. And that's really what we're talking about here. You're doing things and you're acting a certain way, and the other person is judging or not whether this person is a good fit for them and whether they want to spend more time with them and whether they want to sign a contract to spend the rest of their life with them. So thus, that's really what we're talking about. Not like you're setting all these traps and seeing if they pass all these different things.
No.
It's more just like judgment calls.
Yeah.
So let's just say, for example, that there is a woman who is saying that she's going to do all these different things. But when it comes down to it, she doesn't actually fulfill what she's saying. You would much rather find that out before you have to lose
Would you
half
not
of
see
your
that
assets.
in other things, though? In other things that she's pursued in life that she's never finished? Because I think it's kind of a habit more so than her just failing to meet up to one expectation. I think there's probably a lot of expectations that you could look throughout her life and be like, well, you didn't actually
Sure.
complete college like you said you would. You actually never did this thing that you said you would have done for me. So it's like those things, like I could have taken that example and maybe have
No,
seen
extrapolate
what
out.
that, yeah.
100%. And you should make a judgment call on our past too. Like everyone should. And every single thing you do, that's what I'm saying. There's all these different judgments. But like that being said, like what is she bringing to the situation where y'all live together? That's the real question. And it's like, maybe she's bringing past trauma into a setting where you guys are only in a living situation. You would only find that out if you tried it beforehand. There's no way that there's someone just going to bring up, hey, I have a real problem and a trauma from when I was 12 years old about living with somebody. That's really the question on the table here. So,
Would you not know that before you moved in together that she had all this childhood trauma?
but like,
Like that would come
trauma
up.
is specific to certain scenarios, and like different triggers can trigger
and
the
that's
trauma.
kind of what I was getting at with the counseling part.
Yeah, the counseling part you can find out a lot too, and that's
Yeah.
a great test that you should do before you get married as well. I don't know. I mean, it's on the table for me. Like,
Yeah.
maybe that's a good example of something you should also do before marriage. Now, if somebody said,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, you do not trust your wife before she's going to be, all these different qualities and be open to you about her past and this different thing."
Yeah.
Maybe she is, maybe she doesn't. I mean, you don't
I
know
feel like-
until you do
I
it.
feel like couples counseling should be, and sometimes it is a requirement depending on what church you're getting married in. Like
Mhm.
sometimes you do have to go to
Yeah.
the counseling
They
beforehand.
do make you do it.
Yeah. And I think you should have to, because ultimately you need to be forced to think about these things that people don't want to think about because they're just thinking about a pretty wedding and Pinteresting it. But there's a lot of things that it's the
And here's
aftermath.
something that
You're
women
making my case for me. But go ahead.
Well,
Sorry.
here's something that women just innately do, and it's in their nature, is that we have a tendency to just say what we think somebody wants to hear. And so,
It's a lot harder to fake in actions, but keep going. Yeah.
yeah. And so because of that, we tend to hide things until it's time to bring it up.
That's true.
And then that causes problems in the end. So it may be a difficult conversation, but it is discussing things that maybe you didn't want to bring up, but now you have to.
Yeah. It may bring new things to the table, given that it's
Yes.
a new scenario that you guys haven't been in yet.
Yes.
And you're going to be in it the rest of your life. So.
Yeah.
Like, hopefully she has the ability, or the man has the ability to take positive feedback in a scenario where you're living together and change towards a common good. That is a
Yes.
great example of something that you would not know until you live together.
Yes. And you learn how to communicate.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
So
Wow.
Convince him. We brought him over.
So
I'm not
couples
convinced.
Point for
counseling-
DJ
I'm not
Megan.
convinced.
Point for DJ
I'm-
Megan.
I'll consider.
Hey, listen, I'm open to it.
I still disagree
I
with the
need a
living
valid
together
argument.
before marriage. I'm still going to be rock hard solid on that point because I think there's a lot of other ways that you can determine the depth of a relationship and determine your connection with someone and determine the communication. Because I think that's like something that if this is like the first time you're having this conversation, you've waited this long, like I think it just goes to show like why wasn't your relationship that deep before?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's other ways. I think you can be
would you
very
have known, talking about your ex, would you have known all of those qualities if you didn't live together?
I think I will actually say there were things that I've known in the beginning that I chose to ignore.
Flags, yeah.
I saw them, I knew about them, and I am the type of person that sees the best in everyone, no matter how horrible they are. Like
she does.
Yes, and he's
She
like they
does.
could have the biggest red flag, and I'm like, but he has such a good heart. Like I see, and like that is a really big flaw of mine. Is like I want the best in everyone. So like I saw the red flags.
I wish I had more of that.
I saw the best in him. I pursued the best in him, and he didn't give that to me back.
But were there any that you realized? Okay, well,
I knew it before we moved in together. I knew it when I met him.
Come on, Megan.
I knew it.
Put it on the scoreboard.
But I'm just I didn't need to I didn't need to move in with him to find that out. I knew that beforehand. And like to me, like he cheated on me. I still wanted to see the best in him. And like that's like something like I truly think I'm like my thing is like someone's broken or like they have a flaw and I want to love that out of them. And unfortunately you can't.
Well, I also think
you can't love the broken out of someone.
Okay, let me try to make another argument here. Okay, you can try to knock this one out. I think that there's value in tradition, and I think this is kind of the point I was trying to make earlier and couldn't really put it into words. But when it comes to the roles, I think in terms of tradition, it's traditionally you don't move in till you're married and I think that's because that should be something that you're looking forward to. That should be like one of the many attributes or one of the many, pros to getting married. Like you should look forward to living with that person. It shouldn't be extremely difficult. And I don't think it would be extremely difficult if we reverted back to those really masculine and feminine roles in a marriage and in a relationship.
That's a great take.
Yeah.
Like for
It's
instance,
tradition.
like maybe like these fights that are breaking out, like I can't live with this person because of this, that, and the other. Is it because the man or the woman is not adhering to these traditional values and these roles that the man and the woman should be in? Like, are you getting mad because, homie didn't cook for you or whatever? Like maybe the woman should be doing that instead. Or maybe are you mad because the man's like sleeping until noon and he has like a part-time job. He just can't pay for shit.
That's him not being masculine, right?
Yeah. And so like, I do think that moving in together should be a good thing, not is this going to work out? It should be like, I can't wait to move in with this person because like it's going to work out.
No, that is 100% true. But I mean, do you know what like an appeal to tradition is? It's a fallacy. That's why you can't have it as an argument because like, it's also tradition, arranged marriage. Are you for that?
Yes.
Okay, well that's fine. But there's also traditions of all different cultures across the East, West.
I get what you're saying.
But it's stating that this
but
could be a flaw.
I'm not arguing for the tradition of itself. I'm arguing for why it's a tradition. And I think that it's because it's a tradition, like the why it's a tradition is what is actually. So it's like these roles. So it's
the roles of masculine and feminine.
I guess I'm saying that I don't think it would actually be
nature.
Yeah, like, I don't think it would actually be a big problem.
I mean, not to be like the Reddit nerd here, but that's like the naturalistic fallacy. Like you can't just appeal to these things and say like just because it's natural doesn't mean it's good.
But your argument though,
I'm kind of like it's a nerdy thing to say, but it's true. For the sake of an argument, you can't like make an argument appeling to certain things because it's not an actual.
But I think he's just more so saying that. Speaking to the fact that we live in a traditional, like a world that has very little tradition anymore.
Yeah.
But it's like the beauty of tradition is something like that. Like when you go back to it, like people didn't sleep in the same room until like the wedding night. And like people like slept in different like beds and stuff. Like it was so different back then because of the tradition that it held. And it like I think tradition more so sheds a light on how beautiful things should be. It's like things that should be celebrated is like what is tradition is like keeping basically.
Well, if you go back to like the 90s and sitcoms, which I know you hate. I'm talking about Friends specifically because there was the episode when they came back from Vegas and Chandler says something about unpacking at Monica's. And she didn't get it and he had to explain it to her like, what if I move in and you understand what I'm saying? And so And the audience cheered when she was like, okay, because like that was the next step of their relationship. And we all knew that Monica and Chandler were going to work out. We all knew that they were so in love with each other. But it was something in the 90s, I think, that shifted that, where that became the next step instead of marriage.
Sure, because I think my point is you're saying it was a naturalistic fallacy.
For her, traditional fallacy for you.
But I'm saying, though, you're bringing up a problem. Like, we should test this before we do it because it might not work out, right? But I'm saying that...
Or you might discover things that you didn't know were there.
Sure.
There's new things to deal with, but keep going.
And I'm saying that that would not be a problem, though. That wouldn't even be a problem that needs to be overcome if men and women adhered to these roles that we've had since the beginning of time.
Is more to the point of, is this person really adhering to that traditional role or not?
Like
we live now. We don't live...
Right. This is true. But I guess the question is then...
do you want to find that out before you got the contract or after?
Good point. Touche.
But wouldn't you find that out, like, a guy's sleeping until 12? Wouldn't you know that because he's not up and, like, texting you or contacting you at some point early in the morning? Like, I don't think you would move in with someone and be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that you slept until 12.
Okay, well that's a like
I think some of the things, like, you know someone's habits before. I would hope that you know someone's habits before moving in with them.
You don't know all of them. And I brought up a good example of something that you would only find out
you go to their house. Like, if you are dating someone,
noon is obviously
you date someone, you come in unexpectedly, like, oh, I'm gonna pop over, and like you end up stopping at their house. Like, you've done that before, where you didn't plan on going to someone's house, but you did because like something was out of order. But you go into their house and you kind of see what they live like without them preparing to have guests.
You are not with them 24.
I lived with someone for 24/7. I feel like I knew their habits pretty much before I moved in with them. That's why we moved in together.
But you said you figured things out after you guys moved in. Oh, you didn't?
No, I said I knew the red flags before we moved in together.
But you didn't know all of the dynamics of when you were living together.
Well, he cheated on me, but that was like not something I could have predicted from his habits. That was a completely different situation.
I guess I'm
very
making
unique.
like an argument of how things should be versus how things are.
But we moved in together.
Is versus odd.
Everybody's
circumstances
everybody's circumstances are different. Every relationship is different. There's no one size fits all. However, most relationships, I will probably say, you do not know the quirks and features of that individual until
when me and DJ moved
you're
in
together 24/7.
I didn't know he strictly eats eggs on a cast iron skillet.
It's true. You eat a lot of eggs too, though. All right, sounds like we're dating. Let's keep switching.
Gay.
Yeah.
But you also eat a lot of eggs.
You eat as much eggs as I do.
Yeah, but you put so much spice in your eggs, it makes the entire house smell
jalapenos.
like...
I cook with jalapenos a lot.
It's like hard
yummy.
to even breathe in there
I
sometimes.
love spicy.
And you wouldn't have known that.
Yeah. Now, if you were my wife and I was coming home to that, it'd be okay. But the fact that you do it at 2 a.m.
All right, put the apron on.
Know about this one. I think honestly, like, that summed it up. We just wanted to like have a good debate on Western men and women. Yeah, I think.
Hey, say who you guys thought won. Comments.
Yeah. Who do you think won this debate? What do you guys think about, like, I think the living situation was probably the most heated subject out of all of this. Yeah, I don't know. I think every experience is different. Again, like, it's not always going to be the same. And I think your traditions and values and your religion kind of affect what decision you want to make and how you want to go forward with that, essentially.
Yeah, it's no one size fits all, as you can see.
Unless you're conservative and you want to go the right way. Then there's that.
Not to bring it back again, but yeah, I think religion's a big part of it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we have value alignment, that kind of thing, especially if you're both in the same church.
And you can go across the world, and like, where like the whole point of having the Western women is comparing it to Eastern women. Yeah. Because like in a whole different culture, everything's different because religion's different.
Yes.
It's not just because, oh, well, they just breathe different air. Like, no, we all have different religion, and that determines our philosophy. It determines our nature. It determines our culture. So that's why everything's a little different everywhere.
Yeah. Did you just come out as Catholic just now? Okay.
Are you?
I've been going to Catholic Mass for.
Did you go through the process?
I'm in the process right now. I'm not officially Catholic.
Did Allison turn you Catholic?
Allison invited me out, and I gotta say, it was way better than all the Protestant churches I've been to.
Wow.
Oh, ring a ding ding ding.
She was the gateway.
Wow.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You're trans.
I'm not officially. I can definitely go back to being Protestant. So.
Oh yeah.
Official.
No.
It's up in the air.
I'm just really enjoying it so far. I don't know.
There you go.
Don't quote me on
Is
it.
it the
Catholicism.
funny hats?
Yeah, no, I really love the outfits.
Right.
It's the robes.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for coming on and having
Yeah.
a
Thank you
heated
for having
debate with
us.
us.
Love
This
it.
is a Revelo Project. We will link them below. Go check them out.